What's going on, everybody? So today I want to talk about, is Diablo in the worst state it's ever been? It's so weird because you can make whatever video you want. You're always going to get people who will look at your videos like, why are you so negative? Why are you so positive? The game's trash. The game is so good. And there really isn't any room to have some sort of opinion whether or not the game's good or whether the game is like fairly critiqued. There isn't any place for that. But I'm going to go ahead and try to do my best here and talk about what I think the game is actually doing really well recently, as well as what we can expect for the future. And then, of course, some of the criticisms that I have, and answer this question that I've seen a couple times in my comment section. Diablo Immortal, is it really in the worst state it's ever been? So first things first, I want to talk about some other things that have gotten revealed to me by Datamine ARPG. Again, I will leave his link to the Twitter down below. He actually posts quite frequently on here about any brief updates. And then whenever a full deep dive comes out, he might make a video on it. And when that comes out, I will link that down below as well. So right here, you can see some more server merges for all different types of servers. So the people that got left out, it looks like they're doing it in 2 batches. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was some sort of logistical error or logistical problem that they decided to do in 2 batches. And also a bunch of other things that this guy sent me in, some more information about. The new Storm Point mode, the new Battlegrounds mode, the new Blood Knight, and all these stuff seem to be in the works still and are making progress. Looks like it's going to be a few months out until we actually get access to these types of things. So that is a little unfortunate, but hopefully we will find out more information in this next update coming soon. If I just pull up the Battle.net client and click on the patch notes here, hopefully they'll pull up the actual time when they dropped these patch notes. This was July 19th, so this is way off. But let me just see here. If we pull up Diablo Immortal and we see the actual updates, that was November 8th, which was about a week ago. So a week from today, as of recording this video, which was November 15th, we will be getting a patch notes on November 22nd, hopefully with new additions to what we can expect going forward. It looks like it's going to be a new battle pass. At least that we know kind of for sure, because it's going to end in 8 days. So that's pretty cool. But is Diablo in its worst state? As now that we've talked about what we can kind of expect for the future and what we can see that's going on right now, I highly disagree with this. It's so weird to me because people will say, oh, well, how can you make a video on something that they did poorly? Like, for example, I would consider the compensation kind of a complete joke in a lot of senses. And then right after that, talk about the news. It's like, I'm here to critique what they do well and then give my opinion on that, and then turn around and actually still cover the game, because I'm here to cover Diablo Immortal. If you don't want to watch Diablo Immortal content, whether that's drama, whether that's you want to be a super negative person about the game, whatever it is, I don't really care what your opinion is on the game. I'm here to do coverage and talk and give my opinion on the game, because I'm not going to sit here and just give you the straight up news, because obviously I have my own opinions about what's going on with the game. That being said, I still play the game daily. I've been actually playing the game much more because I think they've gone in a really amazing direction. They've added so many different things that I'm really appreciative of recently, and I think that it's absolutely fair to give them praise where they see fit. Now, granted, some of the things that I'm very excited about aren't actually in the game yet because they're in the data mine. However, you could very assuredly expect a system very similar to what the data miner actually dropped in the future, and I like the direction that they're going. I enjoy the new Battlegrounds mode that they're seem to be introducing soon. New classes is always a fun concept for me as a content creator, because I can go ahead and test these classes out and make videos on them for people who are interested in deciding whether or not they want a class swap. All this is exciting. I have a very different perspective than a regular player on the game, because a lot of the things I look at are like, okay, can I make a video about this, or is this interesting for a video for people to watch? And that's kind of where I judge whether something or an update is actually good for me or whether I like it. And with that being said, I really like the set item changes, okay? I think this is a super underrated idea. Everyone literally just sees this update and they talk about how you got to stop being negative about the game, or stop critiquing the game for the ridiculous compensation. And then you make a video talking about set crafting, and all those same people turn around and make comments about how the drop rates suck and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't change anything. Guys, The fact that you could get any set item and craft specific ones is a massive improvement. It essentially doubles the drop rate for all conceivable purposes, because you can actually target certain items that you can want to build in your build. Not only are you getting items at large, and you may be able to expand your just combat rating straight up by getting good combat rating items, but all the other trash ones are now better. This essentially increased the drop rate. Now, could they increase the drop rate, make it even better? Probably. I think that it's very fair to say that, hey, they could increase the drop rate, but to say that this update doesn't matter because the drop rate sucks is completely ridiculous, because it literally essentially increases the drop rate by giving you the ability to actually drop a set that you want, right? When I'm farming a dungeon and I get a triple stat Bloom Guide set, or a triple stat, let's just say Windloft set, I don't care about that set because I'm looking for 4-piece Vithus, 2-piece Shalbaz. So those pieces, even though they're high combat rating, really don't do anything for me in terms of progressing my overall build. However, if I go salvage a bunch of sets and then keep my high combat rating pieces for literally just challenge rift pushing, guess what? Now I have challenge rift gear and I can progress my actual build. This is absolutely amazing. In addition to that, they've added, or I guess teased with a new data mine, that they're going to add that new legendary essence. And I just want to comment on this because a lot of people were saying, oh, I think it's the attributes of the gear. Keep in mind that it specifically said essences of the legendary item. Essences do not have attributes. Gear have attributes. Essences have specific abilities. They didn't talk about gear, they talked about essences. Therefore, it's only my interpretation. Granted, I understand if you have that different interpretation, but my interpretation is that it improves the legendary essences themselves because it specifically said essences. But of course, we don't know until the game, it's actually in the game, because Blizzard has a lot of text errors, right? It is what it is. As I mentioned in a lot of comments and responding to you all, that we don't know for sure until it's in the game, because who knows what Diablo actually means, or Blizzard, what they're actually meaning out there. So all of that, new progression systems, easier way to get set items. I think those in combination with server merges are amazing updates. As I've mentioned since the beginning of the game, we need more ways to progress our character. I really wish it was residence grinding. I think that's actually a more exciting prospect for a lot of people. But actually, RNG build, kind of diversification with randomly getting certain set pieces or legendary items that are upgrading your legendary items that may have been given other uses than previous, can actually be a very, very fun mechanic. And I'm actually super excited about it. And it's actually encouraging me to go ahead and open world farm a lot more recently to get my Paragon level up to server minimum, because, well, I've been playing the game quite casually recently, logging in, to get my daily rewards, and not necessarily grinding for 3 hours or so every day. I've been playing for about an hour and a half, 2 hours every day, just to kind of play the game. But this is a very exciting prospect, and I really, really think that that's a great thing to add to the game. Add that to the server merges, which have happened recently and are happening again, seems like, in the next couple of weeks. And I imagine this next update, if I could speculate just a little bit here, is going to have, according to the data miner, a little bit of the server merges added with this next update, in addition to the new battle pass. So all of that seems to be very, very good updates. Server merges, as I mentioned in my critiques of the server merges, this cannot be the only thing, and they need to make sure that they're improving the problems with the game. But guess what? They are actually improving the problems of the game. Out of the entirety of Diablo Immortal, the only updates where I really think are actually problems fixed are recent. Set crafting, legendary item essence upgrading. These two things are key solutions to the problems that we've addressed since day one. Super excited, and arguably Diablo Immortal, whatever you want to say about the game and people's opinion of it, the actual game state in terms of content in the game and what you can do is in its best state it's ever been. And I highly would contest anyone that would say anything otherwise, because guess what? All the content, the server paragon's higher, so if you decide to start the game day one, you have a lot more content to go through that you can actually access because the server paragon's higher. A lot of things have been added to the game in terms of legendary items, new set item crafting. Looks like new legendary upgrade essences are coming. The servers are as populated as they were day one, arguably, if not more populated, because they're all end game players for the most part, or at least a majority of them are later game players. So Diablo Immortal is in the best state possible. The only exception to that could be the fact that the player base isn't as into it as it once was. That's the only counter argument I could see to this. But I don't see how you could say that the game is not better than it once was. Maybe it's not good enough for you, and that's completely fine if you're just watching, kind of seeing what the game is like at the current moment. But Diablo has made some significant improvements to the game, and I'm really happy about that. I think that really the only updates that was notable beforehand were any of the legendary item additions, which were kind of like some brief type of things because only some classes could change their build a little bit. And then the class change. And then since then, for about a 3-month period there really wasn't anything that I was super excited to see. The events were kind of lame. These things that they were doing were kind of lame. They weren't super exciting. The Telluric Pearl crafting ended up being a big flop. They do need to make a lot of improvements, like giving another avenue for free-to-play players to progress a lot more than they currently can, or even mid-spenders, which I would consider myself a mid-spender because I spent about 2.5K over the course of 5 months, about $500 a month. Most people would say that I would consider that a whale personally, but I would say in this game it's probably about a mid-spender. They need some way for mid-spenders to actually progress the game and free-to-play to progress the game at a reasonable pace, so that they don't feel like they're really completely locked until they spend more, or it's super, super long, at least for free to play, like weeks or months at a time before they make any sort of upgrade, literally like a 5% upgrade to their account, which is pretty sad. I really wish that they would address this soon. And I'm excited to see the new Battleground mode. I hope they do it at a reasonable pace. That is something that I'm concerned about, but we will see with this next update. Again, TLDR here at the end of the video. Diablo Immortal is in its best state ever. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you stop playing? Do you disagree with any of this? Have you stopped playing before? Are you coming back to the game because of these recent changes? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'll see you tomorrow.